Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Storytime episode with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to read some of our homegrown horrors to you guys. Well, not our homegrown horrors, your homegrown horrors that you send us, and then we send out to the audioverse.
With our voices. Indeed, we are. I'm super excited. And for those of you who have never heard a Storytime episode before, what we're going to do is read these homegrown horrors. And as Robin just mentioned, homegrown horrors are the paranormal, spiritual, supernatural, sometimes coincidental, sometimes true crime stories that either you, a friend, a family member have had that you decide you're going to email to us and share with us so we can share it with, I don't know how you put that, the audioverse?
I guess.
I like that. That
Straight
works
to your ear holes.
Straight to your ear holes. So if you have a story like that and would like to share it, Robin, where can they send those stories to?
So you can send them to our email, storytime@scariest.com. You can also send it to us on Facebook. We've had people send it over Instagram. You can do it on Twitter as well. There's just a whole bunch of different ways. Our email, storytime@scariest.com. Facebook, facebook.com/scariestpodcast. A whole bunch of different things.
Indeed. So reach out to us however you are most comfortable. We will get that story, and if you would like it shared, we would be more than happy to share it. Shout out to I'm What's for Dinner, who resubscribed for the third month using their own money. And the message is, in cat voice, I can has live stream? Indeed, you can has live stream. Here is live stream for use. And Lady M, who just resubscribed for the fourth month. Thank you so much, folks, that are subscribing. We sincerely appreciate it. I would also like to point out that I'm What's for Dinner is the new stream boss. I think I might have adjusted the numbers a little bit by rerunning those alerts, but hey, it is what it is. That's where it's at right now, so congratulations to I'm What's for Dinner for being the current stream boss, because you were the one who defeated, I think it was Goofy Cure.
Yeah.
It had like 100 HP left, so
I think so.
it was super low since we streamed on Saturday and did Silent Hill 2, which was pretty fun. I feel like we made some progress.
Kind of.
We had a couple situations that were getting a little bit rough because we were doing an escort quest, and anyone who knows anything about video games knows they're a pain in the ass. And the person that was following us refused to run away from someone who had the intent of murdering them, and if they died, we lost the game. So it was super annoying for a little while, but it was also really fun to watch.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone who joined us for that. But tonight we are going to be doing 4 stories. I think like 3 of them are medium length and 1 of them is long. So strap in. We hope it's a good time. Spooky Mom said they're really good. So are you going to go first, or am I going to go first?
I'll go first.
Alrighty.
So this first one here is from Neffy, and its subject is homegrown horror, obviously. And it goes like this. Hey, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Sorry, Adam. Ladies come first.
It's okay. That's how I do all the episodes and all of our promotional material, if anyone's ever noticed. It always says Robin and Adam present, or Robin and Adam do this. So
it's been a while since I last wrote. I was the one who wrote about hearing someone calling my name back-to-back days. Anyways, I have 2 completely different stories this time. One that happened to my mom and the other that happened to my cousin while I was with her. First story, a bit of background info for this one. I'm Guatemalan. I am the first child out of 5 and the last one that was born in Guatemala. My 2 younger sisters were born here in the U.S. While my older sisters and I were in Guatemala, my mom came here to see my dad, who was working here since he got a job offer to work in Houston. While here, my mom got pregnant with my younger sister, and because of my dad's work schedule, she was alone a lot at night. That's always unfortunate, I think. Unfortunate. Because you're in this new place, completely new, you're by yourself, you get pregnant, and you're just like, I'm just this pregnant mom, alone, like, oh my god.
I mean, it's never happened to me, but I sympathize with what's going on there.
Of course, yes. Totally understandable. Here's where the scary begins. One night, my mom was falling asleep when she started feeling her leg being rubbed. Could be romantic.
I was going to say, not super scary yet. This could be like a nice ghost, just trying to like make you feel better.
She bolted up and saw this old man smiling at her. According to her, she didn't feel scared, but safe. Eventually, he disappeared and she fell right back to sleep. Sometime later, my younger sister was born, and once again, my mom was alone at night, no one else in the apartment. She said that she started to feel something heavy on her chest, and she couldn't move. She started freaking out because she could only open her eyes, so she had, like, sleep paralysis.
Sounds like it, yeah. Shout out to Cat Beatrix, who just subscribed using Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime combination.
Thank you so much.
For the 2nd month in a row, and 12th month total. That makes a full year for Cat Beatrix.
Wow.
You're also the best boba delivery we have ever had. Thank you so much.
So she could only open her eyes, and her instinct was to get to my sister. She managed to move enough to call my grandpa, but he could barely understand her, since according to him, she sounded like someone was covering her mouth.
That's so fucking creepy, dude.
That's terrifying. My mom said that it felt like forever until all that weight just disappeared. She said that she stayed awake until my dad got there, but she never had any experience like that ever again. She's okay, and my annoying younger sister is okay too.
That's so funny.
All right, time for the second story. This one is shorter and not actually scary, but interesting. I was about 12 when this happened. My cousin and sister were about 17 years old. They picked me up from a friend's house in my mom's car. I was falling asleep when I heard my cousin say, "What's that?" pointing to the sky. I couldn't see since I really didn't care and wanted to take a nap. However, according to my sister and cousin, they said that they saw a green light, but it looked pixelated. I find conspiracy theories very interesting because they always start off based on a fact and then they diverge off that most of the time, but I have always heard that theory that we are in a simulation. All right.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I don't know why I was just driving home thinking about the simulation idea.
Probably because this whole world is like...
There was a meme that showed like
reset.
a reptilian overlord, and it said like, it was like a headline, and it said like, reptilian overlords state that they'll reset simulation to 2015, and the quote from the overlord was like, "We just wanted to see what you would do."
Honestly, the flash of green light was real, but this pixelation might have been made by dirty windows or not seeing it clear enough. I don't really know, but my sister and cousin swear that the light appeared pixelated. Tell me what y'all think it is. I don't know.
I mean, it could just be an LED board that was attached to something that was pixelated. It's like, the best way I can describe it is that meme. Of course, my life has lived through memes at this point. But it's like...
We've been trapped inside and we're just like...
Right?
All the memes.
But realistically, there's that meme where it shows a picture of a really foggy night, and there was a digital billboard that malfunctioned. Its operating system malfunctioned. So it had the Windows error that says, like, this needs to be reset. But it was, like, in perfect HD LED glory, floating in the middle of nowhere, because the fog that was surrounding it was hiding the fact there was a billboard that, like, it was on.
Yeah.
So people thought when they looked up and saw this, like, what the fuck is that? But more importantly, no one thought, like, so you're saying that this simulation everyone lives inside runs on Windows 98. You know what I mean? So, like, why would it be pixelated? Why wouldn't it be something else that's projecting things out there? So kind of try and look at those details. But like you said, I think there's a lot of different things that it could be. So what are your theories on it?
I think the LED board thing is such a good point that it totally could be something like that, you know? Because in this day and age, there are digital signs everywhere, you know? You never know. But they said it's a flash of light. So, I don't know, fireworks, maybe?
Maybe part of the LED board went out, and that's why the rest of it got pixelated around it. So
maybe.
It's like, you know, when you see on TV where someone, like, punches a TV or punches a computer screen, and then all of a sudden, like, everything around it is bizarre colors. That kind of sounds like what's happening here, but it's hard to tell without seeing it with my own eyes.
I divided it into paragraphs since I hear from y'all that it's easier to read. Just wanted to say real quick, love the podcast. Y'all are my number one podcast that I listen to. I listen to every episode as soon as they come out since I have to be up by 4 to go to work nearly every day. P.S. I'm a guy, just in case my name doesn't give off that vibe. Thank you so much, Neffy. That's awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
I cannot believe that your mom had to go through something so scary. I know when women are pregnant, though, they do... Oh, thank you so much, Spooky Zora, for resubscribing.
4th month in a row, 10th month total. Says, wow, it's been so long. Hey, everyone. What up, Spooky Zora?
Thank you
for joining us.
It's when women go through hormone changes like that, anybody who go through hormone changes, your body just reacts differently to different things. And I think sleep paralysis is something that does happen when you're pregnant.
Right.
So I've heard. I don't know. I don't know.
Sleep paralysis is also supposed to be triggered by stress in addition to other things.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the most stressful things you're going to go through. So that would totally make sense. As far as the pixelation floating in the middle of nowhere, I don't know. I'll ask the overlords and see what they say. What
the reptilian overlords?
What the official cover story is, and I'll get back to you.
What's funny is I always joke with Adam about, like, we should do the topic of, like, the reptilians that live in the earth.
The hollow earth theory, yeah. We have a lot of conspiracy theories that we're just kind of waiting
But Adam's always just like, I hate you, because I always bring up, like, maybe it's the reptiles in the middle of the earth, or, like, stupid stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that we want to get to. We just know we're going to need a lot of time to research, and a lot of times we're like, okay, let's dig into this other one because it's not going to take weeks of research. because we don't want to start like
those conspiracy theories will take
so long.
It'd be like multiple episodes you'd have to do.
And it's just like what this email said too. It's like it originated at some piece of fact or evidence or like eyewitness event that actually happened, and everything just kind of spun off of that. Shout out to Captain Fega, who just donated 100 bits.
Thank you
and
so
became
much.
Our new stream boss.
Ooh.
Way to pay attention to see how much HP was left on that stream boss. But yeah, it's something where you have to dig through so much research, and when I say that, what I really mean is dig through so much bullshit to get to what actually caused this whole theory to spin out, and then try and find like the truth line that somehow runs through all these bizarre theories that have come from it. And it can be very, very difficult. We don't go to a lot of conspiracy theories on the show because it is a fuck ton of research.
It's a deep hole to go into.
It would be really cool to do, like you said, like multiple episodes on it. But yeah, at some point we're probably going to get there. So we're getting close. Maybe we'll pick a month and have that month be Conspiracy Theory Month. So, and the other thing is that we've done 120 episodes now.
I cannot
which
believe
means we've
that.
done
like
over 240 topics.
That's insane.
And some of the only like feedback we've ever gotten where people are like, no, you're wrong about this, is like stuff that is very heavily conspiracy theory like laden. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we usually ever get anyone that's sending in like corrections unless it's like pronunciations or we legitimately made like a tiny mistake. But when it comes to conspiracy theory stuff, people will be like, actually, my uncle's dad's best friend's like security guard for his hotel said that he knew a dog that saw blah 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 blah. And people will treat conspiracy theories like whatever they've heard as if it's fact. Shout out to Emanon, who just donated 1,100
so
bits
much
and turned into the new stream boss. Stream boss going back and forth this evening. It's really nice to see people participating in that, and also it's just really fun to see people taking over and having their name up on the stream.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's a lot that can go into conspiracy theories. So good email, great conversation. All right, so we're going to move on to the next email of the show. This one's subject is cabin horror, and I have had a redeem of a ridiculous voice, and Wasted Girl has been requested, which is the same as my Valley Girl. Don't ask me why.
And What's for Dinner also redeemed a high five.
It's a lot of high fives being redeemed right now, people. They want your hand to fall off by the end
of
the show. We've already redeemed like 20 high fives. Garrett and I have been training for this for years. We used to do the Top Gun high five like constantly.
What's that?
Top Gun high five is where you go high and then low. When they go, we feel the need for speed.
Oh, okay.
We've never missed it in our entire fucking lives because we're champions. Just saying. Okay, I have a White Claw in my hand, which Robin was drinking, which I'm now going to hold, just to make my Wasted Girl more authentic.
Wow.
So, Laura Ann says, I requested a voice thing too.
So you can just do White Girl Wasted all the whole time.
So here we go. Hi, guys. My name is... I feel so bad saying their name like an asshole. My name is Genevieve Kramer from Washington, Seattle, Washington. I mixed them up. I'm so drunk right now. I have a pretty freaky story to share with you. I realized I read that like a drunk girl, and it sounded more suggestive than I would have intended.
Oh my
When
Lord.
I was about 10, my parents and I went up to my grandma's cabin in the middle of the mountains, and we were with a big group of relatives. The thing is, we always went there in the summer for as long as I can remember, but this trip felt off, like almost bad. My cousin, it just sounds like everything that this person was nice enough to write. It's just like this voice makes him sound like an asshole, and I apologize.
It's just because you're an asshole.
My cousins, who are a lot older than me, like a lot, had brought dirt bikes and ATVs. The first day we were there, by now I would have switched off of it, but because there was a double redemption, I'm just going to keep going through it. I rode into town in my grandma's old beat-up truck with two of my cousins who were, at the time, both 16. Do you remember being 16? I remember being 16.
I don't want to think about being 16. I hated being 16.
Okay, well, you've really killed this bit. Yeah, thanks for that. Robin is subscribed to the school of No Fuck You. For anyone who's ever learned anything about improv, it's yes and Robin is subscribed to No Fuck You. She always has been. They brought me a lot of candy, and that night I started to feel really sick from all the candy. Okay, I'm going to stop that now. I'm going to take a sip of this White Claw just to see how it tastes.
This one's better.
That is disgusting. Holy shit. It might just be the flavor, though. Let me try this Bud Light mango.
Mango is better. I really like the mango one. Black cherry just is not. No.
That is not bad, actually.
Yeah.
I hate myself.
The Bud Light one is really good.
Okay. So here we go. They have a lot of candy. Their tummy's hurting. I do remember waking up in the middle of the night because I had to go to the bathroom that was located inside the cabin. That is all I can remember, and I never remember waking up and eating breakfast, which when I asked my mom, she told me that I had seemed a little glazed that morning as I ate breakfast. The rest of the day was super normal, and my cousins and I all drove ATVs and dirt bikes into this really scary part of the mountains. There was this consistent feeling of being watched. First of all, it's super crazy you don't remember that, because, I mean, maybe it was a long time ago, or maybe you were just, like, out of it. The idea of lost time really, really freaks me out, so I'm starting to get a little freaked out. There was this constant feeling of being watched and followed, but my 10-year-old self brushed it off. Okay, maybe you don't remember because it was when you were 10. We then decided to drive up to the glacier that was on top of the mountain. As we were driving up the mountain, one of my cousins was ahead of the group, saw this old and creepy cabin right off the road. When we stopped... Go ahead.
I just have a quick question. I grew up somewhere where there was no ice and snow and stuff like that. So when people say glacier on the mountain, when I think glaciers, I think like the big, huge blocks of ice.
Yeah, it's like a persistent ice cap on the mountain that probably won't melt.
Really?
Yeah.
That
and like sometimes like as the cycle of, I mean like the circle of life, as the stages of the year go through, some of it will melt. And then it'll get cold again, and like the moisture will go up to the top of the mountain, and it'll freeze and replenish.
Oh, okay.
So just depending on how tall the mountain is or what area this mountain is in,
all right,
that's probably what they're referring to.
Cool. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
When we stopped, I noticed the cabin was all boarded up, and there were several no trespassing signs on the trees. I just want to point out that if you followed the fucking rules, this would be where the story ended. But I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
Okay.
But that did not stop us. Is literally the next sentence. But that did not stop us, just the rules and the instructions. We climbed the little path and noticed that the door was locked. Someone decided it would be cool to see what was inside, so they broke the door down and went inside. Okay, at this point, you guys are kind of the bad guys in this story. I just want to point out, like, I feel like we're going to get an email from someone else. Like, one time I went camping in the woods in this old private cabin, and someone busted the fucking door down while I hid and was terrified. But, okay. Broke the door down and went inside. It was an old one-room dirt floor cabin, and there was an old bed in the corner opposite this huge rock fireplace. There was an old wooden cradle lying next to the bed that I initially did not notice. The next thing I know, I watched along with all my cousins in horror as the cradle slowly started rocking back and forth. I screamed, but my oldest cousin assured me that it was probably just a draft. So we continued through the cabin, and how do you continue through a cabin at this point where that shit just happened?
Because bravery.
Is it bravery or foolishness? We continued through the cabin, and there was a porch on the other side of the room. We walked out onto the porch, and I was the last one out of the cabin. Keep in mind that no one could have been behind me, and the next thing I know, I felt this huge hand on my back push me forward onto the ground.
That's fucked.
My cousins thought that I had just tripped, but I knew what had happened. That was the last time I ever went into that cabin, but the scariest thing is that when we got back to my grandma's cabin, we told her about the abandoned cabin, and she told us that she had met the family that used to live there, and they were snowed in one winter, and the husband is suspected of murdering his wife and 3 children.
The fuck up.
He had disappeared a few days before their bodies were found, and the police believed that he was also killed, but my grandma told us that she believes that he killed them because he seemed a little off, and he was very paranoid about very weird things. This entire experience has always left me uneasy, and whenever I tell this story, I definitely feel watched. Thank you so much for reading my scary story, and thank you, Spooky Mom, for editing this email. Holy shit. That's super fucking creepy right there.
That's intense. Like, just imagine... I can't even imagine going to this place, and then you go home, you're like, hey, we found this really strange place, and then your grandma's just like, oh, let me tell you the story about that place.
Let me tell you about the place where people got fucking murdered. And I never mentioned it before because I just wanted you kids to come see me.
That's just fucking insane.
Yeah, that is super creepy right there.
And it's because they got snowed in. Imagine everybody stuck at home because of this whole thing. Murder. Oh my god.
Way to put that in everyone's mind in the middle of a pandemic.
If you sniff one more time, I will murder you. Fuck, I hate you.
All right. Thank you for sending that in. That was a super awesome story. My spooky mom was right. These are definitely really good. So, cool. And before we move on, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And we are back. Okay, Robin from the past, take it away.
All right. So this next email is from Jacqueline, and its subject is The Hanging Man in the Bathroom.
That was weird that you read it that way, but cool.
It deserves a serious tone. It's just such a cool title.
The Hanging Man in the Bathroom.
Yeah.
It sounds creepy unless you're just in the bathroom playing hangman with your friends, which is different.
Hello, and good evening. I have 2 homegrown stories and apologize that they are rather lengthy. You're totally cool. We don't mind lengthy homegrown horrors.
We had one that I had to push to next week because it's like it's so
You
long.
can just split it up.
Yeah, it's like 5 stories. So I had already sent like 3 to Spooky Mom to edit, and then I got to the next one, and it's so long. I was like, this one's going to have to be at least half and half. It might even wind up being like a full episode.
Oh, cool.
So we have another one like that too. But anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt. I apologize. Please proceed.
I heard your podcast on Spotify.
Shout out to Spotify.
And was hooked when I heard your banter between one another. This is not a good example.
No, it's not. This is an absolute disaster right now.
You make my days full of laughter. Well, here goes. Number 1, the man in the bathroom. My aunt has never married and never had children. It has come to light that she, too, wrapped herself up in a rainbow flag and is gay. That's awesome. I'm glad she's like, hey, this is what I am.
Yeah, shout out to all those of you who are wrapped up in a rainbow flag. That's a cool way to put it, and I like that.
She doesn't plan on having kids, and all the nieces and nephews are sometimes rented out by her before being given back to their parents. That's nice. She has always lived alone and used to live in a small apartment complex where the cousins and I stayed the night to play N64, go swimming, and fill up on homemade cupcakes.
That sounds like a fucking blast.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie.
I was 6 at the time when we were all sleeping in her bed. How do you fit so many kids in a bed?
How old were they?
6.
Yeah, so they're tiny, and it's probably a king-size bed. That's just how I picture it, because when you're a kid, a king-size bed is like a room made of pillows, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I was 6 at the time when we were all sleeping in her bed and woke up in the middle of the night. She always kept the bathroom light on for us, and one night I saw a man standing in the bathroom door before he looked back at us, turned away, shut the door, and never came back out. Fuck that.
What the fuck?
Growing up, I had a really big fear of the bathroom. My mom used to... Oh, God.
Shout out to Kelly Bean 666, who has followed us over there in Twitch.
She was an esthetician, or she did hair and stuff like that. And so she had mannequin heads. And I was always afraid that a mannequin head was going to come out of the fucking toilet.
That's so bizarre. Did you think it was going to bite you on the butt?
Just the mannequin heads freaked me the fuck out, okay? I don't know why, but I always had a fear of the bathroom, and I would run out. I would do my business, flush, and run out the fucking door.
I figured it was just because of the smells that you produce, but I understand being creeped out by mannequin heads for sure, but it's like, how are they going to get you? But then you have this like vision of a mannequin head erupting from a toilet and attacking you. I guess that would work, because I always was creeped out by them too, because I always felt like they were watching me. So my grandmother had a bunch in her basement.
Oh, really?
That's where we got our hairs cut when I was a kid, because my grandmother used to cut hair too.
Interesting.
Yeah. So whenever you tell me that story about how like you passed out because you locked your knees.
Yeah, that's why my mouth's fucked up.
I totally picture my grandma's basement, because that's where I used to get my hair cut as a kid. So
wow, that's cool. Yeah, so this bathroom thing just kind of reminds me about how freaked out I was of the bathroom growing up. I just got an email from Medieval Times. I miss you.
Oh my God.
So, all right. This guy never comes out of the bathroom. I freaked out and did what any 6-year-old would do, covered my head with blankets, and forced myself to go back to sleep. Later, down the road, and I was 19, in college, and shooting the shit with my family, when I offhandedly mentioned the events of my cousins and aunt and asking her about the guy, she proceeds to tell us that, quote, yeah, there was a guy there because the apartment was haunted.
What
end quote.
Fuck, dude.
What the actual fuck? She then tells us that she got the place for cheap rent because a man murdered his family and then hung himself in the bathroom.
What's with all the family murder, y'all? Like, this is the second of 3 emails that we've read so far with someone murdering their family.
She laughed it off, and my cousins and I were freaked out. And now, a story for the holidays.
Hopefully it has a family murder in it.
It's titled, number 2, it's titled, Of Death and Shoes.
I like it when you guys give these things titles. It shows me a little bit of like creativity in your soul to see what you name your stuff.
So, I come from a very Irish Italian Catholic family who is uncommonly uncommonly superstitious. My grandmother always had odd superstitions. 13 is a lucky number, hats on a bed are an omen of death, and putting shoes on a table invites death to your door. With that being said...
I've heard the shoes one before, for sure.
Really?
I've never heard the hats one on the bed,
I've never
though.
heard of the hats and the shoes, but 13 I've heard of being a lucky number, not an unlucky number.
I've not heard that.
I think it just depends on the culture you come from.
That's true.
Yeah. With that being said, there was a Christmas get-together where myself, all of my 23 cousins, holy crap, that's a huge family, 6 aunts, a handful of uncles, and...
They did say they were Italian, Irish, Catholic, right?
Ah, yes.
This number is fairly low for the combination of those cultures and religion. Just saying.
A handful of uncles and siblings all put their shoes on the tables and couches of my grandmother's and grandfather's home. We've never told my grandmother we did this. To this day, she doesn't know, and we just celebrated her 80th birthday. Well, we did it as a joke and wanted a few good laughs, so we took photos and figured we would show our grandparents for my granddad's birthday in the following March. However, oh Lord... However, that time would never come. We played the joke in December and it invited death to the door. Come February, exactly a month before his birthday, my grandfather had a massive heart attack and passed 3 days later in the ICU, never gaining consciousness again. All right.
That's so sad.
So, don't do those things even if it's a joke.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously because everyone's belief system is different, but feel no guilt. Like, you didn't know. You thought you were doing something that was just, like, out of jest. And there's no way to even tell whether or not it had literally anything to do with it. You know what I mean? So if you have any guilt for that whatsoever, please absolve yourself of it. You had no way of knowing that that's something that would have happened. And it almost certainly would have happened regardless of whether or not you did that. That said, don't do that, no-mo, because it's just taunting it. You know what I mean?
My family has never told my grandmother, and we haven't spoken of it. When anyone had tried bringing the prank up in conversation, we quickly changed the subject. It's been over a decade, and none of us have spoken a word about what we all think the truth is. We played a prank that invited death to our grandparents' home, and he died only a month later. His death was a blindside to all of us, and so sudden and unexpected that we no longer speak of it, as if that is our new superstition. To speak of my grandfather and shoes, tables, and couches are an omen of death. That's kind of like...
super intense.
Yeah, that's super intense that it's become like, don't talk about that stuff, don't talk about that stuff, don't do any of that stuff.
Don't talk about anything involving the situation whatsoever. Yeah.
Hope all is well. I love the podcast and would love to hear a talk about the Houston killing fields, but that's for another show. Best regards, Jackie.
Thank you for sending that, Jackie. That is crazy. It's a very personal story, and thank you so much for sharing that with us and the spooky friends, because I think it's pretty shocking to realize when you share a story like that, how many folks out there are going to relate and going to be able to say, like, I had something similar like that happen to me too, where I thumbed a nose at superstition or something like that, and it wound up, like, coming back to bite me in the end. And again, let me reiterate, it is not your fault. It is no one's fault. Like, shit happens sometimes, you know? So I think that's the point behind superstitions, is you don't know exactly how something could affect something, so you just avoid inviting any sort of bad fortune to yourself. It is very difficult not knowing what superstitions will actually do, because, like we mentioned, just from you speaking about it, like 13 to me has always been unlucky. To some other people, 13's lucky. So some people might seek out that number, and some people might avoid it. And in another culture, shoes on the table or any of the other surfaces that we talked about could be a good omen. You know what I mean? So I think it just really comes down to what you personally believe. And before you didn't, so I don't think that would have invited any sort of negative energy. But now that you believe that, it's definitely something that obviously I'm going to take more seriously just hearing your story. So thank you one more time for sending that in. What did you think?
I thought it was really good. And I mean, the whole superstition thing, my family totally has the same things. I've never actually had something where we did something and then something bad happened, because I try not to. The whole chopsticks and rice thing, I try not to do. There's a whole lot of superstitions that I try not to do because I just don't want the bad luck, you know. Even if it's a joke, I'm just like, no, don't do it. So,
right. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you one more time for sending that in. So I'm going to move into the last email of the show, and this one's subject is, you can share on the podcast, smiley face. So we don't know what we're getting into, but it's with a smiley face, so it's got to be good stuff, right? And we had another redeem of a ridiculous accents, and there was a bunch of options tossed out to me about what I can do. Someone said pro wrestling announcer, which actually sounds pretty fun, but I'm going to go with Batman, and I'm picking the Christian Bale Batman specifically, because there's a lot of different voices you could do for Batman. The best one to do is probably Michael Keaton, because it's just kind of low, but you're just trying to like conceal the fact that you're talking to a chick you just made out with like 20 minutes ago. There's not even a Val Kilmer Batman voice. He just uses his real voice, and then George Clooney, it's just like a smirk the whole time. God, I hate that fucking movie.
What? I like his. Okay.
And then I have a voice modulator that I technically could use in post to do the Ben Affleck Batman, which would be kind of funny.
Bleed?
Do you bleed? That would be really cool to do. I'm going with Christian Bale because it's just gruff and like yelling the whole time. So,
oh god, okay.
I'm What's for Dinner just called me out and is absolutely correct and said Adam West has the best Batman voice, and that is 100% true. That is my fault. Also, Kevin Conley from the Batman animated series is pretty fucking awesome too.
Oh yeah, I grew up on that.
I grew up on that shit too. It's so good. That and the Spider-Man cartoon and the X-Men cartoons.
I never realized that the Joker is
Mark Hamill.
Yes.
Yeah, he did the Joker for so much stuff for his whole life.
Shit.
Yeah, he was the Joker, and then I don't know. There's just so much behind those animated series from when we were growing
said,
up.
"Don't hate on bat nips."
Bat nips were the worst shit.
Oh come on,
ever. Joel Schumacher should be fucking tarred and feathered for putting bat nipples on the bat suit.
I'm just gonna say, women are sexualized all the time, and they just put nipples on Batman's suit, okay? They're just nipples.
It's stupid, though. Why the fuck would you put nipples on the suit?
Why the fuck are women walking around half naked and that's supposed to be their armor?
I also think that's stupid. I think it's really stupid when you have a fucking person who's supposed to be wearing combat armor and I can see their vagine. That makes no sense. That's why I pay attention to fantasy stuff like Game of Thrones, where Brienne of Tarth, despite being a little bit fugly, wears normal battle armor.
If you had extra defense on your nips, wouldn't you appreciate it?
You don't need to have a beveled piece to have extra defense on your nips. That makes no sense. You touch my nips, I swear to God, this shit, all of it. I'm ending the stream. I'm throwing your shit onto the street. It is over. I warned her about it before the show. She is a nipple molester, and I do not appreciate it right now. All right. I'm doing Christian Bale. All that shit staying in the show. That's what you get. Here we go. Damn it. I really don't want to do Christian Bale. As soon as I came into that, I just regretted it. Hey, Adam, Robin, Spooky Mom.
Oh, that's pretty good.
This is more Will Arnett. And all the spooky listeners, swear to me. I just discovered your podcast around Halloween, and to be honest, I've been skipping around the episode list, listening to each new episode, while also trying to catch up. This is really hurting my throat.
Where's the trigger?
Where's the trigger? I love your guys' friendly banter, and of course, the puns. Listening to you guys talk about creepy, scary-ish, and horrifying topics helps me get through my mundane job. After hearing so many homegrown horrors over the past couple months, I've gathered enough courage to share my own. All right, that's all I got, because it's really hurting my throat. So just for fun, I'm going to do this next sentence in Bane. The first one is super quick, so I'll get this one out of the way.
I don't know if that's Bane. It's too high-pitched.
I'm sick, dude. I had gone camping with my friend and her mom one summer, and we were arriving home. They were the first to get out of the car and take some things back inside, as I had been the unlucky one to get crammed into the back seat with a bunch of camping gear, the icebox, and food, etc. So it took me a bit to get out of the car.
That's the bad luck seat? You can just grab snacks the entire fucking way.
But you're also the snack grabber for everyone, and all of your space has been invaded with all of these things that will make you uncomfortable the whole ride back.
But what if it's like support? So if you want to lean on something, there's something to lean on.
It just depends. I mean, you can lean on me. When you're not strong.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'll be your friend.
I just always want to be by the snacks.
Okay, that makes sense. But they're saying that they were stuck in the car for a little bit longer because they're surrounded with all this stuff. So it took me a little bit to get out of the car and to bend back in to grab some of our things. But when I did, Emanon has redeemed and asked a question. It says, I thought you looked a little flushed. You were running a little bit of a fever, Mr. Corona. Haha, I actually don't have a fever. It's just a cold. And that's just my makeup because I've been wiping it off with my stupid tissues, revealing my red complexion underneath. All right.
Yeah, he has rosacea, so his cheeks are super duper red.
They're not that bad. In fact, most people don't even notice it.
With the new lighting, it's not that bad.
No, with the new lighting, it's way worse.
What is
White light, just fucking makes it so much worse.
I thought it kind of...
That guy just driving by, just cranking out that fucking motorcycle to let everyone know his wiener's tiny. I hate it so fucking much. Residential neighborhood, asshole. Residential neighborhood. Go ahead.
So, I feel like when we put the new lights in, it looked all right, because it like kind of blew out the red, so it wasn't like so red.
Well, it highlights the paleness of my face. So the red is not pale, so it just makes the spot on my face that's white just seem more white. So the yellow light, like if we didn't have the actual spotlights when we used to use the GoPro, I didn't wear makeup because the yellow light in the lights and not the actual spotlights was more than enough for it to like just kind of hide the red. Emanon redeemed. I've got a hell of a case of bronchitis right now, so worst fucking thing to have at this point in time in our country. That really sucks. I had bronchitis like at the end or the beginning of February, and they freaked out when I went to urgent care too because I was like, I was out of the country 2 weeks ago. And they're like, what? I was like,
no, it's Mexico.
It was Mexico. They're like, oh, okay, cool. All right, I am going to get back to this email now, but that was a fun time. So, they heard something as they're emptying out things in the car. They heard a small, childlike voice call out my name in a sing-song tune. Not my actual name, but the nickname that my friend called me usually, Rina, R-I-N-A. Hope I'm saying that right. Turning around, I see the side of the house and their white cat, Cheerio.
Aww.
Freaked out and trying to make light of the situation, I jokingly said to Cheerio, "Oh, was that you, Cheerio? Talking now, are we?" Awkwardly chuckling. I'm really hoping this cat's like, "Yeah, it was me. What the fuck's up?" Like the dog from Men in Black.
So the writer of this, their name's Serena, right?
Yes, it is Serena.
Because the Sailor Moon, her name is Serena. And she has a talking cat. So, you know.
It's pretty ironic. This is crazy. This is life imitating art again. It's so weird.
It's just Luna talking.
Artemis
is the white one. Sorry.
I made my way inside and asked my friend and her mom if they had called me, which they both denied. I could tell they were confused and genuine, so I really didn't think it was them. I've heard all kinds of horror stories about answering the voices who call your name and following the voices, so I'm glad I just talked to the cat, in parentheses, insert a million cat lady jokes here, and moved on. What do you think it was? I think Robin just gave you her theory, and I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Or it could have been your imagination, or it could have been a demon trying to lure you away and never, ever let you go.
That's the thing with hearing voices. I feel like it's always, okay, maybe not always, but it more often than not would be something trying to lure you away from the main group, or something like that. You know, if you're with friends and you hear someone calling you and it's like your friends are right here. Who the fuck is calling you from the dark?
I mean, I've mentioned this before, but some of my friends back home, because there were multiple Adams growing up, would refer to me to like differentiate me from them as Asshole Adam. And I love that nickname, and I was very like, it's a term of affection for me because the things that I would do would be similar to like if this was the situation, and like I just picture like if a voice is trying to lure you somewhere. Eventually, you're going to get to a spot where you're like, I would never go through this threshold, but I hear the voice of my friend. You know what I mean? So imagine, like, you hear this voice, you follow it, then all of a sudden you're at basement steps that lead down into a dark basement, and you hear your friend's voice, your mom's voice, and it's just like, hey, come down here. I'm Asshole Adam. So at the top of the stairs, I'd be like, hey, fuck you. I'm not going down there into the darkness, you goddamn demon. And if it is my friend or my mom that's just down there in the dark for some reason, they'd be like, oh, yeah. I'd be like, you come up here. You come up here.
I can't imagine you doing that to your mom. Like, if your mom was...
I don't care. Nope. I love you, Mom. I'm sorry. If you're standing in a dark basement, you're possessed. You're a demon. You're staying down there on your own.
But just imagine if she needs something. She's like, hey, Adam?
If she's down in a dark basement, I'm tossing down a bucket of fish heads because she is fucking possessed, and that's all she needs to survive.
A bucket of fish heads?
That's it. That's all they need to live.
What the fuck?
All right. I'm going to get back to the story. This one is a long story. Sorry. It happened when I was 15 or so, and I had just made friends with a girl I had noticed on my walks home from school. She took the exact same route I did. It's a ghost. I'm just calling it right now. This girl doesn't exist. Just turning into the neighborhood up the road from mine. It took me 3 weeks to get up the nerve to approach her, but once I did, we became fast friends, and soon enough I was introduced to her deceivingly beautiful home. I say deceivingly because although it looked nice and cookie-cutter perfect, just all the homes in this neighborhood, once you walked in, it was like you just wanted to look over your shoulder every 10 seconds, and you never wanted to be by yourself. Holy shit. I even made her stand outside the bathroom when I had to go. It was that bad. Wow, that is terrifying, because I would never, ever subject someone to the sounds of horror that happen outside the bathroom door when I'm in there. So... I felt like
you say that, but sometimes you come into the bathroom while I'm in there, like if I'm in the shower, and you drop a deuce, and I'm just like...
Because I don't want to go to a different bathroom. It's so much further. And that barely ever happens, and it's usually because she's taking forever. And I'm just like, oh my god, I can't hold it anymore.
There are 3 bathrooms in this house.
So they're further away. One of them's in my mom's room. One of them's downstairs. It's such a long walk. I'd rather just crap out the window, but you won't let me do that anymore. Stupid
You're
HOA
so
rules.
fucking stupid. Get out of here.
All right. So I felt like a small child who had to run and jump into the bed after turning the bedroom light off. There was always a weird, dark, heavy atmosphere no matter how much natural light was allowed in. My friend lived with her dad, and they were always at each other's throats for the smallest issues, and it never made any sense to me. I know friends should be on friends' sides, or that is how teenage minds work, but even I had to question her thought process on some issues she'd fight with her dad about. Like, is it really worth it? Aren't you tired of fighting? And I think that's a really good point. Sometimes you're like, how can I remain loyal while also questioning someone's motivations? You know what I mean? So that's a difficult situation to be in. So it's been months on months from the day I met her 5 months later of this paranoid feeling and my friend and her dad fighting all the time and this dark atmosphere when one night it came to a head. I spent the night again and we'd been watching Supernatural, in parentheses, our shared love of this show was one of the things that helped us become so close. Eating pizza and drinking... Fuck you. Eating pizza and drinking pop. This is from the Midwest, obviously. After finishing season 3, I believe, we made our way upstairs and we were getting ready for bed. My friend had to take sleeping pills, so she took her pills and we laid down to go to bed. I was wide awake, but decided just to close my eyes and let myself think until I was asleep. As I was trying to clear my mind, I heard a shuffling sound.
Clear your mind.
My friend's room's floor was messy. A hurricane could hit it, and there honestly wouldn't be much difference.
Girl panic redeem high five.
Okay. Dude, you're the worst. I almost just slapped her in the face because she second guesses every decision she makes. Right hand or left hand?
Okay, let's do this one. Okay. I needed to give my right hand a break.
All right, I'm going to hold up my hand and you're going to high five me because that was some weak sauce shit.
That still sounded bad.
You have to move your hand forward when you high five someone.
Okay. Yeah.
Jeez. Where the fuck was I? That was a shit show. Our first high fives were just solid, and now that her hand is stinging, now she's second guessing like every decision she's ever made. All right. They heard the shuffling sound. The room looks like shit. Got it.
Thank you so much.
Bella Loves Pandas.
Thank you.
That's such a great name. Thank you, Bella Loves Pandas, for following us over there on Twitch. All right. The room looks like poop, and they continue. I knew the sound because that's what it was like when you were trying to pick your way through the mess. So she hears this noise. It sounds like someone's trying to get through the room. Opening my eyes, I try to make out whatever was making the sound in the darkness. Nothing. Closing my eyes, I tried to let it pass and snuggle back into the blankets. Not even 5 minutes later, the sound happened again, but closer. Snapping my eyes back open, I tried to find the source while simultaneously trying to figure out what could be making the sound. They don't have rodents, they don't have pets, and we were supposed to be the only ones home. Mentally saying, fuck it, I woke my friend, but she barely opens her eyes before passing out again because of her sleeping pill. Looking back over to where the sound was coming from, there didn't seem to be anything there. As I was watching the area, the sound came again, but closer. I was looking in the direction, but nothing was there. Nothing was moving. Damn near a panic attack, I tried waking my friend again, but the same thing happened. She woke up for 10 seconds before she passed out. Keep in mind, every time my friend woke, the sound stopped. The noise came maybe a couple feet from the bed, and I was near tears while trying to wake my friend, and this time she asked if I wanted to sleep downstairs. Shaking my head yes so hard, I'm surprised my head didn't shake off. I grabbed a pillow and blanket and made my way out, giving that area a large berth. I stuck to my friend like glue, not letting her too far away from me. Needless to say, we almost tumbled down the stairs. We made our new beds on the couch and grandpa chair in her home's foyer. We talked to calm me down for a bit, and then I remember watching her randomly walking into the kitchen. I remember she took a long time, and I was growing sleepy, and eventually I passed out. Or, so I thought. This is where my memory stops, and what my friend told me happened. Holy shit, I just got cold chills reading that sentence. She says she walked into the kitchen and opened the freezer, the one at the bottom of the fridge, and then she stared into it for what she thought was a few minutes, but was actually closer to 30. She grabbed a Klondike bar, cue jingle here.
What?
And returned to the foyer.
What'd you do for a Klondike bar?
I don't think I've ever actually had a Klondike bar, so
they suck.
I don't know. Do they suck?
I hate them.
Just assume they did.
It's because it's just a piece of vanilla ice cream dipped in chocolate, but the chocolate is like weird.
I thought Klondike bars. I've never had one, and I don't know why. I've always assumed that they tasted like a Thin Mint.
No. That's not a Klondike bar is vanilla ice cream.
I don't know what the hell it's different from everything else that's like vanilla ice cream dipped in chocolate. So
it's just a brick of vanilla ice cream, and it's covered in chocolate. There's no like the wooden little popsicle stick. There's no nothing. It's just this brick, and I just think the chocolate that's surrounding the vanilla ice cream isn't that good. But some people love them. I don't know.
So I wouldn't do much for a Klondike bar, is what this comes down to. Okay, so there is a mint one, so I'm not crazy. All right, they took the Klondike bar and returned to the foyer, where she found me staring at her with such hatred. She stopped in the entryway, shocked. She said she had never seen me look so menacing and angry since she'd known me. She walked across the room to get her seat, and I kept pace with her movement with my head, like I was tracking her. She ate her ice cream bar in silence, me still silently glaring at her. Eventually, after staring into her lap for a while, too nervous to look back up, she did, and I was sound asleep, curled into a ball on the couch. The next morning, I could feel an air of awkwardness between us, but I built up the courage to ask her what was up. After some hedging, she eventually spilled the beans and told me. I told her I fell asleep before she even came back from the kitchen, and she swore she saw me glaring at her.
That's terrifying.
I said I was passed out again, and she stared at me before saying she believed me, but was scared of what that meant. And that's the story of how I think we may have been possessed because a demon wanted a Klondike bar.
What the
Just
fuck?
kidding. But seriously, this was one of the scariest nights of my life. Of course, I still went back over and spent many nights at my friend's place, and nothing like that ever happened again,
That's
thankfully.
good.
I have a few more stories if you'd like to hear them. Nothing as crazy as my second story, but still scary-ish. LOL. Thank you for listening to my stories. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day, and keep up all the awesome work you do. I love your podcast so much, and look forward to every episode. Rena.
Thank you so much, Rena.
That is terrifying, and I have never had a terrifying sleepover like that with one of my friends. I think it shows the bond that you two had, that she wasn't like, that bitch is never coming back over because you a demon. Because that is just haunting. To see someone staring at you with intense hatred like that would be so friggin' scary.
I was at GameStop conferences as a store manager multiple times. There was one time I was roomed with one of the other store managers in my district, and we were out here in Vegas for that particular year, and she would go out all night, probably gambling, hanging out with family.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all she was doing.
She would go out, and then she'd come home really late, but I'd be in bed sleeping. But when you're at GameStop conferences as a store manager, you're working all day, and you wake up super duper early in the morning, and you have all these meetings and all these different things you go to, and a lot of them are fucking boring as fuck. And so you're trying to stay awake, and you learn to sleep with your eyes open. So
both eyes, not one, for those of you wondering.
Yeah, both eyes open. Oh gosh darn it, gripping your pillow tight.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you learn to sleep with your eyes open. And this particular night, she came back to the hotel room, and I had I think she came in and I was sleeping, but when she was walking through the room, I had my blanket like up to here, and my eyes were just wide open.
The listeners can't see where the blanket was.
Oh, sorry, it was like up to my nose. It was like up to my nose, and my eyes were wide open, and I was asleep. I don't remember any of this, but the next day she's just like, dude, you scared the crap out of me because you slept with your eyes open. And I was just laughing because that's not the first time that whole week that someone had said that I was sleeping with my eyes open. Because my DM, my district manager, had just told me the day before, like, I was watching you while we're in one of the conferences, one of the little meetings, and I was looking at whoever was at the front, and then all of a sudden, my eyes would be open, then all of a sudden my head would just jerk, like I just woke up. And it's just so funny because people sometimes do that. They sleep with their eyes open, and you just never know. I don't know.
Shout out to Robin for saying doo-doo. That was pretty well
Shut
worked
up.
in there.
Get out of here.
So thank you so much for sending that in. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, everyone who joined us for the live stream today. If you folks are listening on the regular podcast, please join us for our live streams. They are currently every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Which is 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern.
It's a bunch of fun times. It's really cool. We get to hang out with a whole bunch of our spooky friends, and you guys are great. It's a lot of chit-chat, a lot of talk, getting to know everyone. You guys get to know us a little better, and it's just super fun. So hopefully you guys join us, twitch.tv/scarishpodcast or youtube.com/scarish. Either of those work. It's a little bit more personal on Twitch.
Personable.
Yeah, because there's more things that you can do on there. But if you want to support us monetarily, you can donate while you're on those streams, or you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/scarishpodcast. There's a whole bunch of different tiers you can check out. Tiers start at $8. You can also go to Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. And those are one-time donations, and all those donations help us upgrade our studio setup.
Indeed. And if you have a story that you would like to share with us, we would absolutely like to hear it. Please reach out to us by emailing storytime@scarish.com or going to our website, scarish.com, and clicking on Contact Us. You can fill out that form. It comes directly to us, or you can hit us up on any of our social medias. We have Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. We would love to hear from you on any of those channels. We are excited to hear from everyone that likes to reach out to us. It is always a fun time, and that is us talking to you. I think some people think it's like a social media manager or like an automated general message. That is us. Please reach out. It is always so nice to hear from you folks.
Yeah, and right now, too, I'm still doing pre-orders on the Scary-ish pins, the brand new ones that just got shipped. They should be here by Friday, so I can start going through them, wrapping them all up, and then hopefully they'll get mailed out by mid-April, which would be absolutely amazing. So if you guys want to pre-order it, it's $1 cheaper than the regular price is going to be if you guys want to get them now. Go for it. Glitch has posted the link in Twitch. Hopefully you guys... Oh, and YouTube. Thank you so much, Glitch. So you guys can go there. It's on my Etsy shop. If you go to our website, scarish.com, there's a link down at the bottom. All our social media and everything like that also has links to it, too. So if you want to pre-order the new little demon horn pin, I absolutely love it. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, so you guys can do that.
That's everything we have for this episode of Storytime. Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. Wash your hands and stay home if you can.
Yeah.
That said, Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.